Welcome to Solutions Rising. I'm Rachel Branch, and it is a delight to welcome Jean Moulthrop and Susan Brandon to Solutions Rising. All three of us are historians and deeply care about preserving the history of our communities. However, this Solutions Rising program, we are going to discuss the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative campaign. Welcome to both of you, Jean and Susan.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you for having us, Rachel.
Delighted. And we could start off by each of you telling about the Clarksburg Historical Commission and how each of you became involved with the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative campaign and what that is. So whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Well, I've been interested in history for years, and then when I was asked if I might want to be on the commission, I was thrilled and then was appointed, but I was working alone. And I had heard about the Community Preservation Act when Pittsfield did something with an historic building, but I was alone. And it wasn't until Susan and Joe came on board that Susan really got into the process, into finding out every little thing about the Community Preservation Act. And so we took it from there and presented it to, we sent a package of information to Carl McKinney, the town administrator, and the select board. Then they put us on the agenda, and Susan did a presentation at the select board meeting, and it went from there.
They said we could put it on our annual election on the warrant.
So
that's how we
get an
started.
initiative. So would you first tell us of what the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative is, or the Community Preservation Act?
Yeah,
Explain
sure.
that for our audience.
Community Preservation Act. Don't mind if I just refer to notes, just so I don't
Absolutely
remember
not.
all the little details. There's a lot of information
sure.
involved in it, but it's a Massachusetts law that began in the year 2000 that allows communities to create a locally controlled fund and dedicated to open space and recreation, historic resources, and housing. So as being a member of the commission, I joined like 4 years ago. I'm from Clarksburg, and I would love to preserve what we love most about our little town. And so when we needed to do, we're looking at the work that needs to be done through the commission, doing historic resources inventories. And like Jean said, she came on, there's a lot of vital records and town historic records that were in our vault. Things were inventoried like 20 years ago with recommendations to how to preserve, but things didn't, anything happened with the preservation of these records. So we were sorting through things, and when we learned about monies from the CPA, we thought, wow, well, this is a wonderful opportunity to use to, help recover these vital records and restore them, preserve them, put them, organize them, have them available even digitally, so people can access them. For those who love to do historic research, that's one. But
Even can't get out. It's so fascinating.
It is. So I just got very involved in finding out a lot about what we could do with this. And there's so many other things you can do. Like I mentioned, conserving of open space and recreational facilities, upgrading ballparks and playgrounds and making walking trails and
So it's not just about land, it's about historical records, but historical areas
buildings and resources. Yeah, so there's just was so much more we could do for it. And our town, even to get, I'm just trying to think how much we would need to apply for one of the grants. The grants for the Massachusetts Historical Commission are normally 50-50. You put up 50% of the money and you put it forward, and then you get reimbursed. So there's really no way for us, we've had tax sales, which we have tomorrow at the town hall, but to gain all that money to do something significant, and this was just a really wonderful opportunity for to be involved in getting money to start some of these projects, because our town, I don't know if our listeners know, Clarksburg, 53% of our land is owned by the state. It's the state
Oh, I
property.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
and, if it was in private hands, we would get like $250,000, in tax, money. But from the state, we get the payment in lieu of taxes pilot program, which we get $30,000 a year.
See,
So-
I'd rather not see it in private hands. 'Cause
Well,
that
it would, we
it
are,
can be wonderful for getting money, but it's not very
Right.
good about keeping control.
but if the state would,
Oh, you have to
increase. I know our town administrator has been on this for years,
Carl
maybe
Kinney's
decades, to
Yeah.
get more. I mean, this has been less payment, 30,000. So anyways, we have a very, very limited shoestring budget at Clarksburg. And so these
little
projects are underfunded or never funded. These type of community enriching, making a playground or walking trails, or restoring our town building, which is historic, our town hall and the school. So there's lots of projects
And you have to
that
have
can be done.
committed town members who are willing to fight the fight, frankly.
Right, we do have volunteers.
Gene, yeah, and volunteers do so much of the
Yeah.
work. Gene, how much can you access from the Community Preservation Act? How much? And also, why, please go into the ballot question initiative.
Well, the ballot question explains the whole procedure, and it's a long, detailed question. But this is information that's been provided to us from the Community Preservation Coalition. And we will be doing a 3% surcharge on the real estate assessments. There is an exclusion for low income.
Good.
There's an exclusion for low to moderate income seniors. And then to calculate the formula, it's complicated.
There's
but
one
to
more
calculate it,
exclusion.
There's $100,000 across the board exclusion from the assessments. So that the surcharge is based on the lower amount, and it's billed quarterly. So we figured that the average, we don't know how many low-income people there would be. So we figured that the average would be an annual charge of $56. Quarterly, it's 14 or 15 cents a day.
It's well worth it.
It really is, and it's something that's affordable because of the exclusions. Those that can't afford it won't have to pay anything. We figure that we're going to get between $25,000 and $35,000 through the surcharges. And then because of the 3% surcharge, and because we're a small town and less affluent, we'll get 100% matching funds every year.
Wow, it's too bad it has to be paid after the fact, that you can't get it before while you're
Yeah,
doing the
well,
work.
that's how matching
Yeah.
grants run too.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the map and saw that the majority, there are 196 cities and towns in this, and when we saw that most of them are east of West Worcester, there are a few cities and towns in Berkshire County, Williamstown, Pittsfield, Lenox, Stockbridge, West Stockbridge, and Great Barrington. And they don't need the money as much as Clarksburg does. And we thought, it's really time for us to be getting some of this back.
That should bode well for the town of Clarksburg. Are you, so do you have to have a warrant passed at your town
At the
annual
town meeting? Yes, we did.
Before you can apply, you already did that.
Yeah.
So then, once that's approved, it must have been approved at, is
Yes,
that
it was.
May?
Right.
Approved, and then now you can apply for the funds?
No, we went to the select
Oh, the
board
ballot.
first.
It goes
and
on
then
to
we
the
did-
ballot.
That's the
Yeah.
ballot initiative. So
Yeah,
you
and then
got
we did
some
the town
hoops.
meeting, and,
Yeah.
and there were some questions, but we weren't able to fully explain things. And so now it goes to the ballot. And they tell us that the presidential ballots usually do better than a normal.
Yes, always
Yeah.
a
You
better.
get more people.
But it's getting the word out there. And so we have a mailing coming out in a couple of weeks before the early voting.
Yeah.
And we have signs coming. So hopefully there'll be enough questions, and the people that we've spoken to can spread the word.
And that's one of the reasons we're doing Solutions Rising.
Yes, it
because
is.
we want to help.
We want the
wanna
word to
help
get
and
out
get
there.
that out. And of course, the link that you get, you can send it all over the place.
Right,
So
right.
that's important.
And then, once it passes, next year it goes to the town meeting with a bylaw. And we have the wording for the bylaw, and a committee would be formed of 5 to 9 people. Some are committee members, and others are at large, but people from the town that are interested in this.
So select board members can be part of the
No.
committee?
It could
or
be maybe an at-large member,
at-large.
but there are Historical Commission, a member, Conservation Commission, the Recreation Committee, and the Planning Board, and then a resident. We don't have a housing authority, but a resident that would represent the housing authority. And then you can have, 4 other at-large.
Susan, I heard you say there was another exclusion. What is the other exclusion?
Oh,
That was
$100,000 off of every property, private and commercial. So if you say your property is
Assessed?
assessed at $220,000 or $1,000, the surcharge we would reduce it by $100,000. So the surcharge would be on the tax of $120,000.
Oh, that seems equitable.
Right, so
Really?
for right now, the average or median home value in Clarksburg is like $220,000. And so it would be $55 a year. Well, that's using the rate of $15.35, I think is what it was in 2024. But it's going to be different by the time this gets collected. We don't know what that tax rate will be.
Have you found any obstinacy to this? Or are people just questioning what it is?
What it
or
is,
are there
yeah.
people that are, it does seem there's a lot to learn, a lot to read. I know you brought these charts that we will hopefully do a little slide program with, but it's a lot to
There's a lot
take
to it.
in and digest for everyday people.
There's hundreds and hundreds of pages of this, and the formula to come up with the surcharge is confusing for people, and that's where we have problems with their understanding. And we have some properties that are valued at or assessed at $100,000 or less. Some because of their land, so they would be excluded. Period. And as I was figuring out the 15 cents per day value on the average person, I went to $1 million, and the $1 million would come out to be like $101 a quarter. So if you can afford $1 million home, you can
Yeah.
afford that.
And also be part of the community, caring about your community.
Right.
We
Right.
consider it
$400
as like a
for-
fundraiser,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Clarksburg, if we could just.
Contribution
Yeah.
to your town.
Right, it
That's
will
right.
come on your tax bill. Will be a surcharge added, so, that's, my taxes are going up. Well, it's not changing your tax rate. It's a surcharge that's added. The tax rate is used in the calculation, but it's not changing your tax rate.
Which is really good for people to know.
Yeah.
That this is really a surcharge contribution to the town. Really,
Exactly.
in
And it's-
preserving your town.
An important part of that is to note that this does not go into the general town budget. This is a separate account used specifically for these open space, recreation, historic, and affordable housing. And there are many guidelines that we have, CPA has, that these projects that are proposed need to come before this community preservation committee. They have to review them, they have to see if they're feasible, if they pass all through the guidelines of how this money could be spent, and then they bring their recommendations to the town meeting, and we, the townspeople, vote whether we want to, use that money to spend on this project. Now, monies can be saved. They will collect interest. Say we have a
Oh,
bigger
you
project.
don't lose them if you can't use
No.
them
If you
right
can't
away?
use them,
continues
Wow, that's
growing.
wonderful.
So we can save them. 10% in each of those 3 categories: open space, recreation, 10% historic, and then affordable housing. So that's 30%. And then you can use an optional 5% for administration. So there is a software package to help the tax collectors or assessor, get familiar with using this, how to formulate what the surcharge will be. So we can use funds, to help in administration of that. And the rest can be
5% is really beyond reasonable.
Oh, yeah.
Really wonderful for administration, and that's where a lot of people question, like,
Right.
what is happening? Where's the money really
And
going?
it's all open and transparent. You can go on the community preservation or website. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's coalition, Community Preservation Coalition.org website, and there are
We can
430
we can put
pages
that on the screen.
of projects that have been done in Massachusetts for the past, 20 years, since 2000. And so you can see all the projects that have been done throughout the town.
Which probably make it really nice for not reinventing the wheel. If you want to do a project, you've got some that
Right,
already
you
has-
have a blueprint there.
Yeah.
Right,
This is what
right.
they did,
That's
and it
great.
gives us ideas too. Oh, I didn't think of that. We
Yeah.
could really make some really improvements and just improve our lifestyle here in Clarksburg and trying to really make use of these funds. So having this, I think, is just a win-win for Clarksburg.
This is a multifaceted process, though.
It
You
really
can't
is.
just get this one and done in one quarter. This is
No.
a couple of years. To,
Right,
Get
then,
it moving,
once we
even
get it
get the
approved,
funds,
get
yeah.
the funds, and then build the committee and look over, they need to create a preservation plan for the town.
Yeah.
And so, looking across the board at all the different things under
That
these
sounds
categories.
like it would be fun for the town. Maybe you could even get some
Really?
school children involved. Hey, what would you like to see in your? You could make it
Exactly,
a
yeah.
community fun project.
And another great thing about the money, even if you can't fund a total, project, grants are a big part of getting projects done. It seems to be our bread and butter in Clarksburg, getting grants, and just putting down your match for the grant. These funds can be used to leverage larger grants for these
Frankly,
categories.
It seems like an awful lot of steps for taxpayer money to come back to the taxpayers. But you do what you can. And
Right. I mean,
hope
we
that
really have
legislators will start streamlining to make it easier.
Well, the Community Preservation Coalition, they're located in Beacon Hill, so they are our spokesperson, to the town or the Massachusetts government there and promoting things. I know they've changed things through the 20 years and helping to increase its feasibility to towns. I don't know all the changes it's made, but it's been really good, and they're making it better every year.
Are they comfortable to get to them? Are they?
Oh, yes.
They're
very
Jean
easy
has
to
very
get
spoken
easy
to
to
and
work with.
approachable. and-
Yes, very
No, that's
approachable.
this is just terrific.
And if anyone wants to go to their website, communitypreservationcoalition.org, there's lots of information out there and so much. They're very helpful, but been very open with us. And
Yeah.
One
So-
concern that some people have had was the affordable portion, a section of this, because it's equally,
affordable housing, yeah.
affordable housing, what did I say?
Affordable. You just said affordable. It's
Oh,
okay.
The
It's
affordable
affordable.
housing portion. We don't have anything in Clarksburg, but we've seen what other towns have done, and some have given money to Habitat for housing in their area. Others have built a ramp, a handicap ramp for someone, put grab bars in for other people. So something like the Pavilion Project, too, that was recently done in Clarksburg, that could have been done with these funds. The new
I have a lot of background in housing, and I always want to know, what do you mean by affordable? Is this really going to get to the people who have needs? And
Right.
I believe in cooperative housing. There are a lot of ways you could reuse housing. A habitat for rehabilitation is
Right,
something
rehabilitation,
yes.
yeah.
And it would seem like there would be parts of Clarksburg that would be very helpful. And
Right.
possibly come within the guidelines of what you're
Yes.
talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Sunderland, I know, did a project where they rehabilitated, I think it was a duplex home into several affordable housing
Yeah.
apartments.
Yeah.
So we can start small. We can, aid and veterans and seniors or first-time
yeah.
home buyers, with their down
Right.
payments. There's a lot of different programs to support.
Looks like
the
it's wide
residents.
open for.
Yeah.
Oh,
what
it
you're
really is.
doing.
There's so much that can be done, and we need so much. Town hall, the school, the cemeteries, and we do have one old mill building that I'm aware of that's vacant. That if you get the right person in there to buy that, and
whole bunch of
we could
housing.
help rehab that.
And of course, I
For
believe in
housing.
mixed use,
Right.
which is really
Right.
good
Oh,
for cities and towns to
Yeah.
make mixed use of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, where's that building? I gotta go drive around. I have deep roots in
Yeah.
Clarksburg. I love Clarksburg.
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah.
it's meeting you, Gene. It's been just a treat for me. So
Yeah.
when you are talking to people to simplify and make this digestible, how much do you say? Of course, you can send them to different places so they can read about it, but
It's very difficult because there's so much involved. But we try and let them know that it's very affordable and talk about the exemptions and what could be done, what could have been done. The school had a project a few years ago where they were going to renovate and enlarge the school and to the tune of $19 million.
yeah.
That got turned down by one vote.
Oh, I didn't realize it was one vote. I
One
knew
vote.
it didn't make
And
it.
then they
Yeah.
had a special meeting a few weeks later because of the uproar. And it was turned down by probably a couple of hundred at that time. But volunteers have been working at the school, and so this is something that these funds can be used for to help renovate the school.
It's a difficult balance because you've got declining school population and yet the need for schools.
That's right.
You've got to have your schools. And that was a tough one.
Yes, it was.
Really,
it
really
was.
tough.
And hundreds of people came out for that.
Yeah.
Town hall needs a lot, and well, fortunately or unfortunately, they had a flood last year, and so a lot of the first floor was renovated because of the insurance.
Oh.
There was so much damage that
That's
the
where your
insurance.
historical records are, aren't they?
Some of them are.
Were
Some of
they-
them are in the vault. Yes,
But they were all right in the vault. They were
hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. We're on the second floor now, so
Good.
we're in better
Better
shape.
shape, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
There's still a lot more to be
you
done.
don't want to have flooding so that you can get these things
Right.
done.
We would like to be proactive, and
Sure.
to protect these things.
Well, we're coming down to the end, believe it or not. How would each of you like to share a final thought? Start with you, Susan.
Yeah, well, if anyone would like more information, there is a PDF, our slideshow that we created that has information, smbrandon@mac.com.
And that will be on our screen, and also Matt Tucker, our program director, soon to be executive director, will be adding that PDF file on this program so
Wonderful.
people can look at that. We have these wonderful boards that we can't show today except for the one in the front because of the size, but those will all be
Yeah.
available for people to read and
Yeah.
see. Your turn, Jean.
And they can call me at 413-663-3630. And I know how excited we are, and most of the people that we've talked to are really excited about this. So it's a nice chance to share that excitement with everyone. And I do want to thank you, Rachel,
Oh, you're
so
very
much for
welcome.
having us here.
Oh, you're very welcome, because it's important.
It
Yeah,
really
getting
is.
the word out
Ballot
is so hard.
initiatives are important, and I think probably we need to say this is a presidential election, November 5th.
Fifth.
Yes.
And November 5th, This ballot question, we'd like to tell you a ballot number, but we don't
We
quite
do.
know a number
We
yet.
do.
It's
We
number
found
6.
out.
Do you find out a number?
Yes.
I know there are 6 that were sent by the Secretary of State, are
No,
you
we're
number 7?
6. No, we're number 6.
There's 5 on the state.
Oh, I'm living in Dalton. I
okay.
I have a different, so you're number 6
We're
in
number 6 in
Clarksburg.
Clarksburg.
So when people come to vote, even with early voting, they will
Right.
be able to vote for this initiative.
Yes.
Right.
It's called the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative. Is that? Well,
I'm not sure
Well,
what the
you'll
name
find
is,
it.
but they can also donate on the information. I gave my address, so
Mm-hmm.
checks could be made payable to the Clarksburg Ballot Question Committee
that helps you pay for the
for the
printing
mailing.
and the mailing and
yes.
all that
Right.
you're
Yeah.
doing. That's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
So mailing will
Yeah.
be going out. We're getting one designed, and we're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to simplify as much as we can, putting bullet points on it, not to overwhelm people with all the information. But if they are interested and do want more information, of course, we can always
Yeah.
provide it. And if they need help in figuring out how much will it cost them, are they eligible for the exemptions, for their income level? We have all
You
that.
have your hands full, but it sounds like it's just joyful work.
Yeah.
This
It
is the kind
is.
of volunteer work that the outcome is going to be so positive.
Yeah,
Anyway, so I want to thank Susan Brandon and Jean Malthrop, Clarksburg Historical Commission. Now, he's spearheading the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative that you will have the opportunity to vote on November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. So and of course, we want everybody to vote.
Right.
Of course.
And as I say at the end of each program, if each one of us picked up one problem and solved it, imagine the incredible view we would all have of Solutions Rising. Please be part of the solution, and especially in Clarksburg, because this is our Clarksburg show. This is one of the stations that airs with NBCTC. And I want to take a minute to thank Matthew Tucker for his great help today and steering us on whatever we need so that we can tell you as much as you need to know about the Clarksburg Ballot Initiative. Thank you very much.